chosen is about the food industry. So we have chosen two companies, that is DSI and Bata. So let me give you a small introduction about DSI.
Don't get confused. Can anyone help her?
Alright, so we'll be discussing about introduction to DSI and Bata, the internal analysis, external analysis, SWOT analysis, and the recommendation to this industry which we have chosen. So then I'll give you a small introduction about DSI. So DSI is a reputed company which manufactures footwear products in Sri Lanka, and this is a limited liability company which started in 1962, and it is recognized for manufacturing, retailing, and is one of the most leading exporters of footwear in Sri Lanka, and they're the first shoe manufacturing company to obtain ISO 9001, and they have produced more than 27.5 million shoes for a year, and then they have workforce for more than 2,300 employees. And next, let me take you about the introduction to Bata. And Bata is established in 1894, and they design stylish and comfortable footwears at affordable rate. So they have around 21 Bata owned shoe manufacturing facilities, and more than 150 million footwears being produced for a year, and they have around 5,300 outlets in worldwide. So then let me take you to the stakeholder analysis. So the reason why we do stakeholder analysis in order to identify about our stakeholders and to deliver things according to their recommendation at our potential. And looking into the similarities in this stakeholder analysis, the primary stakeholder, they focus more onto the primary stakeholders such as the customers, employees, the investors, because they consider that the primary stakeholders are the reasons for the success of the business. And moving on to the secondary stakeholders, they think and they're aware of the secondary stakeholders as well because of the recommendation and the success of the business. And they consider the customer as the important party to the business. The reason is the customers are the key stakeholders, and also they produce the product according to the customer's expectation and the needs. And they also follow with the corporate social responsibility. Moving on to the differences in these two companies is the company size. DSI being a small company compared to the Bata, and Bata has influence over the globe, while DSI has more local influence. Moving on to the geography coverage, DSI focuses on operating their companies in Sri Lanka, while Bata is being globally recognized and they have multiple outlets globally. And moving on to the market segment, DSI produce casual and athletic footwear, while Bata produce varieties of wide range of footwear according to the needs of the customer. Next, let me take you to the internal analysis. So in internal analysis, I'm taking to the McKinsey 7S framework, value chain, and the financial comparison on it. So first, moving on to McKinsey's 7S framework. So the reason why we focus and why we do the McKinsey 7S framework is to identify the effectiveness in the internal elements within the organization. So we have 7S over here. And let me take you through the similarities in McKinsey 7S model with related to DSI and Bata. So they have the goal achievement, they focus, they also guide their stakeholders, the employees, in order to focus more on the goal achievement, and they work as a team together and assign tasks and work on based on the team oriented And moving on to the system, they have the well-defined and established system where they have the HR department, the finance department, the IT department, and so on. And moving on to the share values, where they focus on the core values like trust, honesty, customer service, and so on. And moving on to the style, they also give time and they also consider the feedback and suggestions given by the employees, and they hire staff based on the skills level. The skills are compatible, we have the compatible workforce because they give training after recruiting them and also provide training every month as well. And next, moving on to the differences in these two models, we could identify that the DSI, they operate in the domestic market, while Bata is expanded globally, and DSI follows the hierarchical and centralized structures where every decision making depends on the top management. By moving on to Bata, they have the flatter organization structure and hybrid structure where they have the centralized and decentralized way of making decisions. And moving on to the system, DSI focus on efficient manufacturing system of producing things and deliver things directly to the local retailers by their own vehicle. But moving on to Bata, they have the supply chain management system, and they produce things efficiently and distribute to the logistic around the globe as well. And then moving on to the shared value, DSI focus more onto the customer centric, where they produce things according to the expectation of the customer at an affordable rate. While Bata, they focus on the long-term perspective. They also consider customer satisfaction, innovation in their products. And next, moving on to the style, DSI focuses on the competitive method within their units. Like they have the competition and they have the competition within the different departments. And moving on to Bata, they have the internal collaboration and cooperation between their employees. And the staff category, DSI has around 3,500 employees working there, while Bata has over 32,000 employees working globally. And they focus on the product designing, local market, manufacturing things efficiently. And Bata, they focus on a range of skills, which includes the knowledge, supply chain management, and also focus on product designing as well. Next, let me take you to the value chain analysis. So, value chain analysis is done to improve the business individual and to enhance the company's efficiency and to identify the competitive advantage which will boost the profitability of the company. So, focusing on the value chain of these two companies, the inbound logistic is when it comes to DSI, they get the raw materials which is actually available in the country, and they manufacture the shoes. Where they manufacture around 60,000 shoes per day through their 3 manufacturing facilities, and then they directly distribute it to the retailers, the distributors, using their own vehicle, and they do the advertisement, the radio advertisement, TV commercials, and newspaper advertisements as well. And they have a service policy of when the product is being damaged, they can return it within the reasonable period of time. They also have the DSI Food Candy, which is a website where you can order things online and will be delivered to you as well. And moving on to the Bata, where they get the leather directly from another country, and then they have the some other materials like the chemicals and the PVC are distributed from China, and they produce around 110,000 pairs of shoes and saddles through their 2 manufacturing facilities. They also have the finished product being distributed to the distribution center by using their own vehicle. And Bata, in order to advertise their product, they have their fashion shows where they start introducing their new shoe products, and finally they deliver it to the door deliveries, like because they have their own website for bata.lk where you can order things and get the items delivered. The next part in the value chain analysis is the firm infrastructure, human resource management, technological development, and procurement. So when it comes to the firm infrastructure, their main retail office is located in Seoul, while Bata has their main retail office located in Tongji. And moving on to the human resource management, DSI provides recognition to their employees by providing some reward programs, while Bata provide extensive trainings to the employees every month. Next, moving on to technological development, DSI has something called the point of sales, where they start recording the amount of sales being done. And Bata uses the latest technology. And when it comes to the procurement, they use the raw material which is available in their own Samsung trading company, while Bata start getting the supplies from their own tannery. Okay, so since we are running out of time, let me take you quickly through the financial comparison. So moving on to the financial comparison, you can see that I have attached to the financial statement of the previous year. So here we could find that the Bata, when we compare Bata and DSI, DSI operates companies only in Sri Lanka, while Bata operates company all over the nation. So that is the reason Bata has been more financially robust compared to DSI. And when we look into this financial statement, we can identify that the total gross profit of 16,153 million being earned by Bata, while DSI has achieved only 3,560 million. So then, let me take you to the external analysis, where I'm going to take you through the Porter's 5 forces. Okay, so let me take you the Porter's 5 forces. So Porter's 5 forces analysis is done in order to identify the competitive dynamic and the attractiveness of the industry in which it operates. So this will help us to identify the profitability potential of the company. So these are the 5 forces that we could identify. So when we look into the 5 forces, we could identify the threat of new entrant is moderate. The reason is that DSI and Bata focuses on the economies of scale, and they have the strong brand awareness. And bargaining power of supplier is very low because there are more suppliers available in the market. And then moving on to the bargaining power of buyer is really high. The reason is they have different shoe brands, so they can bargain. So there's a high bargaining power of the buyer. And when you move into the competition is really high because there are different brands like Nike, Adidas, Puma, and so on. And the risk of substitute is high because they can shift to another substitute like several boots and so on. So then let me take you to the SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis, the similarities are these. So when it comes to strength, they have the long-standing history and they have the diverse product portfolio. But the weakness is the product concentration. Both the companies has to focus more on the product and do a research on that and start developing those things. And the threat would be the economic downturn. The opportunity is that they have to get exposed to the expansion, where they have to introduce themselves to the emerging markets. And moving on to the differences in the SWOT analysis would be the strength. DSI uses the technology expertise and they have the innovative workforce to work in the company, while Bata strength is the global presence. So in this we can identify the weakness. The weakness of DSI is the strength of Bata, because DSI is not much globally present, but the Bata is globally present. And when it comes to the weakness of Bata, we could identify that they have limited innovations. So that is the reason they are a bit back on. And moving on to the opportunities, the product diversification, DSI has varieties of goods and services. Since they have the innovation within the company, while Bata should be digitally, has the opportunity of digital transforming. And the threat would be the rapid technology advancement in the advancement, because when they start investing more onto the technology, they will lose trust over there. And then the Bata focuses on the traditional way of making things, so they have to get adapted to the new technology and work with that. So then, based on that, we have made the recommendation that is, it's better that DSI should increase their global presence, so which will ultimately increase their profitability as well. And then Bata should also design things according to the customer's needs and wants by focusing on the customer. And yes, so thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk. And I would like to thank my teammates Group B, so working hard to help me work with this presentation. And thank you, Ms. Ishara, for supporting us. And thank you so much for all of you for listening actively.
Thank you, and and all the members of the group will have the class. Then I can ask some questions. That's it. You all probably you all have contributed, but the thing is, then it can be allocated the parts and do the presentation. But the thing is, you all should have a kind of a overall picture about all the content that you all are presenting. That's it. Okay. So right Rashmi, yes, Ulaj, then Shakila, then Heshalala Hiruni, then Danushya and Fatima Nafri. Okay, good presentation, but the thing is I'm not satisfied with the Q&A part. Other than that, presentation content wise,